I became addicted to alcohol by accident. And I honestly believe that that's how it happens for most of us who find ourselves in a place where we're dependent on alcohol. You know, when I started drinking, I didn't plan to become addicted to alcohol, but it was something that just gradually developed over the course of several years of heavy drinking. Now, of course, when I started drinking in my early 20s, I knew that alcohol was addictive, but I never saw myself as someone who could fall prey to an alcohol addiction. Instead, I honestly, naively thought it was something that I would be immune to. And I think the reason that I felt that way was really because of who I was when I started drinking alcohol. I started drinking heavily in my early 20s. I had just graduated college, and I was someone who I started college early. I went to school full time. I worked full time. I was really chasing after life and really chasing after career goals and dreams and things like that. I was a very hard worker. And sure, before I developed an alcohol addiction, I would party and stuff before that, but I could easily go days or weeks without drinking and not really think about it. So I really saw myself as someone who was a hard worker, who had dreams in life that I wanted to pursue, and that I would never allow an addiction to alcohol to hinder that. But what happened for me in my early 20s is I started hanging around people who drank heavily, and I started to have a mindset shift. I'd graduated college and I was like, okay, yeah, now it's time to party. I've been working really hard for several years. I'm just gonna let loose, party. It's what I'm supposed to do at this age anyway, and in a few years when I'm taking my career more seriously, I'll kind of rein it in and cut back on my drinking. So I started to party really hard for several years, and I got to a place where I was sitting there one day and I was drinking, and I was thinking, when was the last day that I haven't had a drink? Like, when was my last alcohol-free day? And I honestly could not remember when it was. I knew that it had been more than a year since I'd even had just one alcohol-free day. And that realization scared me a little bit. And so right then and there, I decided I'm going to take a week-long break from alcohol. I'm just going to detox and not drink for a full week. And I'm not lying when I tell you that that week was extremely difficult. All I wanted to do every single day was drink. I thought about drinking every single day. It was extremely white-knuckled to where I just wanted to drink, and I was resisting the urge. And in fact, I was taking sleeping pills most nights and just going to bed at 7 o'clock so I didn't have to sit through the alcohol cravings and just wish that I could be drinking. But I made it through the 7 days, and I was counting down the days, and by day 8, I was just so ready to drink again, and really I just went back to how I was drinking right before I took the break. So the break that I took from alcohol did not help me cut back my drinking or fix my drinking problems at all. And in fact, in some ways, I feel like it made it worse. And I started to realize that my drinking was not just a phase that I was going through that I could stop whenever I wanted. It made me realize that I was addicted to alcohol. And so that week-long break was really the start of me trying to quit drinking dozens of times over the course of a several-year period, and really struggling to do so. I would make it a couple of days, couple weeks, or a couple months, but eventually I'd return to drinking again simply because my desire to drink, my craving for alcohol was so overwhelming that one little thing could just send me over the edge, and I'd think, oh, screw it, I'll drink, who cares, like, I'll worry about this later. But again, it seemed like the more that I tried to control my drinking or quit drinking, the worse my alcohol addiction got, the worse my binges got, my blackouts got, and I was really getting to this place of just feeling completely defeated and like I would never get this problem under control. But I've since learned that the reason that I couldn't quit drinking had to do with a phenomenon that's been well researched called the alcohol deprivation effect. And what the research showed into this phenomenon is that essentially when someone is addicted to alcohol like I was, and they try to quit drinking, what happens is their brain goes into deprivation mode because it's used to getting alcohol and the rewards that come from alcohol. And when the brain is deprived of something that it thinks it needs, like my brain thought it needed alcohol and on some level was equating it to a survival need, the brain starts to crave it more and desire it more. And so when I dug into this research and really understood what was going on in my brain and the fact that my brain was really going into a deprivation mode whenever I quit drinking, it helped me understand why my craving and my desire and my mental obsession and preoccupation with alcohol would just get so intense every single time that I would try to quit drinking. And that intensity of that desire to drink would just lead me to relapse over and over again. But in 2017, I started on the Sinclair Method treatment protocol, which is an incredibly powerful treatment protocol that actually works to reverse alcohol use disorder neurologically in the brain. And what happened to me through this treatment is it helped me get my control back over alcohol. I started the treatment and I was allowed to continue drinking on the treatment with the goal to really cut back on drinking, and ultimately with the goal to eliminate my craving or my mental obsession and preoccupation with alcohol. And so I started on the protocol, and slowly but surely I saw myself gain control over alcohol again. And I felt like I did before I developed an alcohol addiction, where sure, I could drink here and there, but I wouldn't do it to excess. And I was no longer thinking about or craving alcohol anymore. My alcohol consumption was just decreasing gradually over time. And my thoughts of alcohol were really starting to quiet down and ultimately went away completely after about 8 months on this treatment. If you look into the research behind the Sinclair Method, there's actually been research done over the last 30 years. It's really shown to help reverse the alcohol addiction in the brain, and that's really what it feels like for me, where it's almost as if the alcohol addiction that I had for a near 10-year period kind of vanished. Like, my brain feels like it did before I ever had an alcohol use disorder. So I don't think about alcohol anymore. I don't miss drinking. I don't want to drink. I can drink if I want to. I just have no interest in it. And I have no craving or desire to drink. And I was on this treatment for a year, and the longer I was on it, the more I saw myself gain control over alcohol, where I truly became a moderate drinker and the addiction was no longer controlling my life. This treatment honestly not only changed my drinking and my relationship with alcohol, but through the treatment, there's been a massive positive ripple effect into so many other areas of my life, because my heavy drinking was causing so much harm and chaos to so many areas of my life. So to feel free of this addiction is just an incredible feeling. And I wanted to make this video today because if you're someone who is struggling with alcohol, maybe you feel a lot of shame around your drinking, maybe you're not sure when you developed an alcohol addiction or how it happened, because I think for most of us, it's something that kind of sneaks up on us over time. Please don't beat yourself up. Please know that there have been incredible advances in science and medicine that can truly work to reverse this issue inside of the brain that's been clinically proven to work for most people. I mean, I'm living proof. I know countless others as well. So I definitely encourage you to look into the Sinclair Method and the science behind it. Look into the alcohol deprivation effect. Check out the link in my profile. I've got lots of free resources and information that can help you learn more about the treatment protocol. Also, all my videos on here are about it. I hope this is helpful for you. Bye for now.